Welcome to Confident AF Live, taking your mindset next level to get next year's results today with me, your host, Brandon Foster. Are you a badass peep with big dreams, ready to turn your unrealistic goals into reality? Confident AF Live is the gateway to enormous new opportunities and unlimited possibilities. The unrealistic can suddenly become realistic for you if you believe it. Are you ready to take your dreams and results to the next level? Then stay tuned as we help crack open the door to new ways of impactful thinking and believing about yourself with mindset practices for badass people like you. Confident AF Live starts right now.
Well, hello, boo. Welcome to another episode of Confident AF Live. If you don't know by now, my name is Brandon. I am here to boost your confidence, no matter if you are starting your first business, your third business, whether you have $100,000 in sales or whether you have $8 million in sales. I don't care. I can encourage you, inspire, and uplift you on any single level that you're at. And today I want to talk about the power of self-investment, why it matters, why it's important, why it's not bad for your family, why it is not a crazy thing to do. And I'm really excited about this because I am definitely on a new level of self-investment, and it's a little bit scary sometimes for me. It's getting less scary than what it was because I'm neutralizing it. But it's kind of like, you start off on the small diving board, like that's barely above the water. And then you go to like the 10-meter platform and the 25-meter platform. I feel like now, like I'm at like the 30-foot platform. And it's like, I've jumped off it a couple of times, but I got to keep jumping off of it. So it's not a big deal anymore, right? It's no different than riding a roller coaster. You ride the baby roller coaster, it's like the Woody Woodpecker roller coaster at Universal. Well, now it's being remade for DreamWorks something. And then you have like the Velocicoaster, right? Or the Hulk coaster. And you want to neutralize the uncomfortability of that self-investment of who you're becoming and where you're going in your life and inside of your business. So let's first just talk about why self-investment matters and why it's really important. I feel like some people kind of understand it. I feel like a lot of people are resistant to it and they don't know why they're resistant to it, because I know I was very resistant to investing money in myself because it was not a Maslow hierarchy of needs situation. It wasn't food, it wasn't shelter, and it wasn't clothing. And so because it wasn't food, because it wasn't shelter, and because it wasn't clothing, it was kind of like, why would this be a wise decision for me to spend money on? So the first thing I want to say is that as a serial entrepreneur here with two different businesses, and as a business owner, the hardest piece for me to grasp and really embrace was that my business would always be limited by me, by what I was willing to do, by what I was not willing to do, by the conversations I was willing to have, the conversations I was not willing to have, by the marketing I was willing to do, by the marketing I wasn't willing to do, by the investments I was willing to make, by the investments I was willing to make. And by the way, all of that translates into mindset, AKA your fear, doubts, and worries, and trust, faith, and knowing, right? Because there's always law of polarity. There's always an opposite to everything. And one of the things that I always tell one of my coaching clients is, look, when I ask a question, it doesn't mean it's a black or white question. You could have 80% trust and knowing in yourself, 20% doubt. You could have 50-50. You could have 30-70. You could have 60-40. Same thing with healing trauma or hurt or pain. You could have healed 20% of it and 80% left, or you could have healed 80% and have 20% left. One of the biggest life lessons that my hall director, when I was an RA, resident advisor at Texas University, Jay Todd, an amazing human being, amazing person, he said, you know what? Doobie was my nickname at the time. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother podcast episode. Actually had nothing to do with where some of y'all's mind is going about the marijuana. It had nothing to do with that. It was actually because of my voice. You guys know I've talked about my voice, my roommates and my suite mates. Apparently we're going to talk about it right now because I mentioned it. But my roommates and suite mates thought my voice was very unique. I grew up in a very sheltered home, sheltered environment. Protective environment is the positive way to look at it. Protective environment. And because of that, they jokingly said I was from another planet, and they wanted to give me a nickname. And they said I was from the planet Yabud, and the nickname was Yabud spelled backward, which was Doobie, Dooby. So I remember this conversation, and he addressed me as Doobie. He said, you see the world in black and white, but you can't see the world that way. And I feel like there's a lot of truth in that. And I also feel like there is black and white when it comes to unconditional love, when it comes to true evil, when it comes to certain hard line issues. I think it's very clear what's black and white. But I also feel when it comes to trauma, when it comes to your growth, when it comes to your confidence, I don't feel like you are ever 100% confident. I feel like you might be 100% confident in some tasks, but not all tasks, which is why I say you're not 100% confident. And so the reason why I say that where am I going here? Oh my goodness. Let me just that was like a really crazy tangent that apparently is going to be very enjoyable for all of you all to hear. I wonder how many people are now going to be like, I remember that podcast episode when you talked about your nickname and how you got it. I didn't know that about you. Self-investment. It's scary when you realize that you are the biggest limiting factor of your business, because it means that you have to take full responsibility and there's no one left to blame. It means you can't blame your significant other. It means you can't blame your team. It means you can't blame vendor partners. It means you can't blame anybody but you. You can't blame the no's. Like, it would be so easy as a coach to blame the people who say, no, I'm not ready to sign up for your program yet. You can't blame those people. If you're a travel professional, it'd be so easy to blame the people who decide not to use your services. You can't blame them for why you're not successful, because it's your responsibility to show up as your authentic true self, to tell people what you do, shout it from the rooftops, be confident in what you do, confident in your prices, confident in who you are, confident in what you have to give, so that people are drawn to you and there's no end to the people that want to work with you. That is your responsibility. So once you realize that you are the glass ceiling of your own business, you start to wonder, we talked about self-doubt last week. You start to wonder, how do I become the next level version of me? And we talk about investment. You're either going to invest time in yourself, or you're going to invest money in yourself, or you're going to invest both. The beauty of time is that, I was going to say, it doesn't cost you anything. It does cost you, because time is a cost. I would say time is actually costs more than money, than anything, because you have a finite amount of time on planet Earth. We don't know what that is, but you do. And so time is your most precious resource. Now, I do believe in abundance of time, meaning that you have all the time you need to go where you're meant to go. I do believe that with my whole heart. But it's also true that if you take time to invest in yourself with money, it takes less time to go to your next level. What do I mean by that? Well, my first investment and coaching programs was, I think I invested in a Bob Proctor thing first. I don't remember what it was called, but I think it was like $1,200. And that was like a lot for me because it was over that $1,000 mark. It was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm investing in this much. But I knew that where I was not where I wanted to stay. And I felt like I'd exhausted all of my other options. I felt like, okay, I've been reading the books. There's something I'm not getting. I understand how my mind is what's really holding me back now. And I need something to crack open that door. So I did one course, then I think I did another course. And then I remember I made the decision to invest in a high ticket coaching program, Careers on Vacation. And it was there was not a lot of convincing from the person on the call's part. Like the reason why I felt like it was what I needed to do was because like I had not even heard about Cindy Williams. I had never even heard about this program. One of my business manager for my travel agency, she had run across her on YouTube and was like, hey, I think this would be helpful for our agency. I feel like it would help you as you grow. And so because it was coming from somebody else and because it like just, I was looking for something that would help me be better and grow, it just kind of felt like it was meant to be. That one was a $5,000 investment. The first one-on-one coaching program that I invested in was $700. But the reason why the $700 felt more than the $5,000 is because the $5,000 had like a robust program, several different experts. It had, it had like a 3-month container, whereas the $700 was 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks, voice memos, voice notes only, no one-on-one calls, no in-person, face-to-face, none of that. And it was that 2-week container. Trust me, I milked that for all that it was worth. That 2-week container was definitely life-changing. And that was with Kelly, who is still my coach to this day. And what happened with each of these investments is, and I didn't realize at the time, but when you invest in yourself, you are deciding, number one, not to stay where you are. Number two, you're deciding that there is more within you that exists, but that hasn't been developed. Like there's untapped potential, there's untapped skill, there's untapped capabilities that if they were developed, you're going to get tremendous results. That good things are going to happen. And I didn't realize that at the time that I was making those investments. I actually made those investments more from a place of frustration, wanting answers. It's actually a question that I was taught to always ask. And I always ask people before they sign up for working with me, which is, do you want to move faster? Do you know that you have blind spots? You need someone to point them out to you. Like you're not able to do this on your own. Or do you want a proven system that if you follow it, it's going to give you the results that you need? And there's so much truth to that, because when you choose not to invest money in a program and a coach or something like that, by default, you're going to rely on free resources. And the truth is, why would anybody give their very best stuff for free? Because you won't appreciate and value it like you will the paid stuff. And this is a lesson that every single person I know has had to learn, whether you're in the travel business, whether you're a high ticket coach, whatever it is that you give to serve the world. It's kind of like, I've given away coaching programs for free. People don't show up. They don't do them. They don't do them because they're not invested. There's something really beautiful about investing in yourself. And the more that you pay, the more self-trust you have in yourself, and the more you've decided where you're going, and the more you have decided to believe that you're capable of so much more. It's actually one of the most beautiful purchases that you can actually make in your whole entire life is self-investment. And I actually said this on a live training inside my Facebook group, which you haven't joined. I strongly encourage you to join Confident Mindset Practices. We just hit over 700 badasses. There's a new training every single week inside there. It's live. And I actually, it was this idea of self-trust is really what it is when you invest in yourself, you're trusting that you're worth it. You're trusting that you have more to develop. You're trusting that you are worth spending money on, that you are worth developing. Okay. And you will either, if you don't spend money to invest in yourself, you're going to invest more heavily in time. And here's what I want you all to think about this. It's kind of like when a family, and this is what I said on my live training yesterday. It's like when a family decides to go to Walt Disney World or Disneyland or even Universal, and you have the option of Genie Plus if you're at Disney or Express Pass if you're at Universal. Yes, it does cost more money for Express Pass. It does cost more money for Genie Plus. There is financial cost. However, that financial cost saves you buttloads of time, offers you a better, more enjoyable park experience, allows you to get more done in a day, which allows you to have better memories with less stress and less hassle. And the same is true when you decide to invest in yourself. If you decide to invest money in yourself and you really get an incredible mindset expert, incredible marketing expert, incredible whatever in their industry, they're going to save you so much time, so much hassle, so much heartache, so much frustration, because number one, they've probably coached hundreds of people. And number two, they wouldn't be able to stay in business and keep doing what they're doing if they were terrible at what they did. Number three, the best ones are not afraid to share the turmoil, the mud, and the mire they've gone through, which I try to do that as best I can. Sometimes I'm still healing, and I'm not bleeding on anybody, on all over you all. I'm not bleeding on anybody. And what I have noticed is that there are people who are afraid to invest in themselves, and the people who are afraid to invest the money in themselves, I should say, don't go as far as fast as the people who decide to invest in themselves. And I feel like the biggest reason why that is because it's like the cheat book. It's like the cheat code, you know? It's the idea of, what is it? I heard this one time, and it was, why are the leaders in industries all such epic readers? Is because they've grasped the idea that they can read a book that someone took to get 25 years of knowledge in order to write. And so they, in like 7 hours or 10 hours time, they've gotten 25 years of knowledge in 10 hours. And like, that's the power of like a really amazing, like, that's why I love Badass Mindset Bootcamp. That's why I love my Born to Slay high level mindset mastermind, is because it helps your mindset move quicker. I see your blind spots, and it's systematic and deliberate process that you can use on any level of your business, no matter if you have those $8 million in sales and you're trying to go to $25 million in sales, or whether you're just starting and you want to go from zero to $250,000 your first year. It doesn't matter what it is. So that's why self-investment matters, is because you are the glass ceiling of your own business. Your mindset is a glass ceiling of your entire team's mindset. Your finances are the glass ceiling of your team's mindset. This was of your team's finances. This was a very hard one for me to grasp, to realize that if I didn't become more abundant, I couldn't pass down the abundance to my team. That was a hard one for me to swallow, which is why I have been working really hard. Maybe hard's not the right word. I've been very dedicated and changing my relationship with money and financing and earning, because I want to be a truly abundant leader, business owner, profitable, all those kinds of things. Definitely who I desire to be. So that's why self-investment matters. Let's talk about why people are afraid to invest in themselves, because this is really interesting to me, because after having, I would say probably at this point, almost hundreds of sales calls. Have I had hundreds? I would say I probably hit hundreds of sales calls at this point. After having hundreds of sales calls and coaching coaches on sales, coaching travel professionals on sales, learning from the best, shout out to Brady from Clients and Community. A lot of people are afraid to invest in themselves. And the reason why they're afraid to invest in themselves is because they have self-doubt. They have self-doubt on if they're worth it. Like, am I worth spending this money on? Is this going to be a good financial decision for me? Am I going to make this money back? And the thing is, they think it's doubting in the program. No, I don't even think that they think it's doubting in the program. What it is, it's actually doubting if the program will work for them. That's what it is. It's not doubting the program. It's doubt that if the program worked for them. My friend Amanda Francis said this so brilliantly. Someone asked her that about one of her courses, and she said, "You're not that special." Meaning that why would all the laws of the universe, why would God's grace, love, and abundance be available to everybody and work for everybody except you? You are a human being. It gets to work for you too. The difference is that the reason why different programs work better for some people than other people is really boils down to two things. Number one, that where that person's starting point is. So basically, it's like their deck of cards. This is why I tell people inside my program, don't judge your wins against other people's wins. Don't judge your transformation against other people's transformation, because you don't, first of all, you don't know the full story, and they might be hiding things that you don't know about that are not going well in their life. And second of all, you don't know the cards that they were dealt that gave them an advantage or a disadvantage. And I always say, like, it is true in life that some people are dealt a better deck of cards to begin with than other people. But I believe, because of God's goodness and grace, that any bad hand can turn into a winning hand in life. You know, that's what true positivity is. True positivity is not saying like there aren't bad circumstances or bad situations. It's deciding that even though the situation is not fun, it's not a very good situation or circumstance, good will prevail, goodness will prevail, grace will prevail, and all of it can be harvested and turned into your ultimate good. So I would say that the two reasons why people have self-doubt in investing in themselves is because, number one, they don't sure the program will work for themselves. And number two, they don't know if they're worth it. And I had a mom say this, which baffles my mind. And so I just have to address it. It was, why I was like, why do you want this is like most parents, whether it's dadpreneur, mompreneur, it's like, why do you want your business to work? I want my business to work because I want a better life for my family. I want a better life for my kids. I want to make more money. I want to have more clients, because money is a resource that can be used for good. Better education, better clothes, better housing, better shelter. It funds your dreams. You can give it to people. Like, you can't help people if you're poor. You can't give money if you're poor, right? And so that's one of the biggest reasons I see with moms and dads about what they want for the business. The second reason is I want to show my kids that they can do anything they set their minds to. I want to show my kids that if you have faith, you can succeed. I want to show my kids what it means to be a success in life as a business owner. I want to set an example for my kids, right? So they say these two things. And then when it comes to finances and investing themselves, then for whatever reason, there's this idea that's a BS limiting idea, a lie from the devil, which is it's bad for me to invest and use my family's finances to invest in myself. When you realize that investing in yourself is what allows you to grow and scale your business, because you are the glass ceiling of your business, that is the best investment you can make for your family and your finances, because without changing who you are, your business is never going to change. And for whatever reason, they don't tie those pieces together. And I'm saying this on my podcast so that you will tie that piece together. I want you to know that if you don't trust yourself, or you think you're not going to get as good results, it's because you doubt yourself. You doubt who God created you to be. You doubt that you're worth it, and you are worth it. And you are fully lying yourself if you say that investing in yourself is a bad financial decision. Now, does this mean I want you to overextend yourself? Does it mean that I'm telling you to go run up credit card or go get a huge loan? I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is you need to look at those beliefs. And I would also challenge you and say, if you're willing to spend $5,000 or $4,000 or $3,000, whatever it is, on a family vacation, then you should certainly be willing to spend at least that amount, if not double that, on yourself, if you truly want your business to grow, flourish, and be successful, because you are the only person that is going to be able to take action to make that business successful. Your spouse can't do it. Your kids can't do it. And if you want to be that example, don't you want to be the example that shows your kids that it's okay to invest in themselves, that it's okay to develop yourself, that it's okay to buy education? That's the other thing that blows my mind too, is it's okay to go to school and go $20,000, $100,000 in debt, but it's not okay to hire a high-level coach, an industry expert in their field, for a few grand to really help you in your business. I think that's crazy. All right. Anything else I want to say? Because I just got the 1-minute warning from Sierra. I want to just remind you that I love you. I want to remind you that it's okay if you're scared to invest in yourself, but that fear is a liar. And you need to look at why you're scared to invest in yourself. You need to take a serious look at, if you're willing to spend XYZ on these other things in your family and your business, why are you scared to develop yourself? I want you to really embrace the fact that you are the glass ceiling of your business. Because when you realize that you're the glass ceiling, you decide to break it over and over again, your business is going to skyrocket, boo. I love you so much. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Next week, if you missed last week, that was self-doubt. That was amazing. This was the power of self-investment. Next week, we're going to talk about what is integration, which is a keyword I use all the live long day. And I'm not sure I ever really talked about it. So we'll talk about it next week. Make sure you are subscribing to this podcast so you don't miss any updates. I would love for you to leave a review if you feel like this is encouraging and helpful and amazing to you. Share it with your people. Join our Facebook community, Confident Mindset Practices. And remember, you're doing better than you think. I love you so much, boo. I'll talk to you next week.
You have been listening to Confident AF Live, taking your mindset next level to get next year's results today, with host Brandon Foster on transformationtalkradio.com. Listen or watch live every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, where I help badasses like you with big dreams learn to take their impact and results next level, turning those unrealistic goals into reality. Confident AF Live is the gateway to enormous new opportunities and unlimited possibilities. For more information, get in touch with me, Brandon, at brandonrfoster.com.